Ah, hello there, my friend. Welcome to the fire. Has a character ever died in one of your games? Do you remember that story? Well, in this story, a DM gets his very first PC death. I permadeathed my first PC last night. r/gametales posted by Quackadepaga. Note, that is to say, as much as one can permadeath a character in D&D. I'm playing with a group that by most people's standards is huge. Myself as the DM and 7 consistent players with 1 guest spot at the moment. We make it work fairly well, but it does make it hard to balance combat. Our party: Lark, Protector Azamar Fighter, Otaris, Triton Circle of Stars Druid, Riddle, Tabaxi Monster Slayer Ranger, Scarlet, Fire Gananzi Evocation Wizard, Nimbus, Shifter Archfey Warlock. MIA this week: Song, Tabaxi Arcane Trickster Rogue, Seer Herald, Warforge Oath of Devotion Paladin, Marxian, Half-Elf College of Lore Bard. The group had just entered combat at the start of the session, having been looking to gather basilisk hides to trade for an ingot of cold iron. They got a tip that a strange fae was farming them, but refused to do business with the blacksmith who had the ingot. Unsuccessful trade offers we've made previously, but the fae appreciated the efforts of the party, though he did eventually become frustrated by the wasted time and dominated Nimbus to try to get what he wanted: the baby manticore the party adopted. The rest of the party witnessed the magic and drew their weapons. The fight was close for some and less so for others. The surprise for the fight was that some of the basilisks could burrow and had been trained to ambush prey by waiting for them to move. This tactic gives them advantage on their bite attack and gets them into position to petrify their potential meal. The fae is actually physically quite strong, with some impressive magic including flight, invisibility, and to my player's frustration, fairy fire. Most of his time was spent doing hit and run attacks with invisibility. Eventually though, he and his pets were outmatched and used his last invisibility to disappear and attempt a retreat, leaving only 2 traditional basilisks in sight and 1 burrower a bit of a mystery. The standard ones are easily dealt with, but the burrower shocks Riddle as he moves, missing his attack but making eye contact. Riddle is restrained, and the rest of the party begins to converge. Seemingly hyper-focused on his meal, the basilisk ignores the damage and cries from the group and presses all its fury onto the tabaxi. Riddle fails the next save and is petrified, but is fortunate as even with advantage, the culprit doesn't have enough strength left to break his statuesque form. A surprise bombing run from Scarlet's familiar, empowered with Dragon's Breath, finishes combat proper. But the party had done their research. They know a basilisk petrification didn't wear off, and as they gather around their still friend, we call the session. Legitimately, it was tough, because I like all my PCs, but there's no fun in a game where things can't go terribly wrong, even for a character who didn't technically take a single point of damage. Let's talk tactics first. A good strategy to use when fighting a basilisk is to drop a globe of darkness spell on them, and then unload as much area of effect spells and spells with splash damage. Also, always have a greater restoration spell on hand just in case. Now that fae though, might be a bit of a tougher problem. But anyways, while it's great that it seems like the DM and the players get along well, sometimes things just happen. Nothing personal, it's just how the dice rolls. Still, curing their comrades' petrification could be a fun side mission in itself. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. And would you kindly follow the socials posted in the description below. As always, be good, be great, be awesome.